Hi YouTube. I wanted to talk about visions today as well as premonitions. I do want to give a video disclaimer at the beginning saying that this video I will be mentioning sexual violence and to take care of yourself with that information. And YouTube, this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Visions and premonitions. The times that I have gotten warnings and premonitions from my higher self, from my inner divine self, has been in the astral realms, has been in the dream world. It's all the same place, different words, same thing. Dream world, astral realm, astral plane. And it has been when I have been asleep, off to bed, resting. I wanted to speak on a couple of specific situations that I have had where I had an astral premonition, if you will, that night, and a month, 2 months, maximum 4 months later, it came true. And I think a part of the reason as to why I have experienced these and been experiencing them more is because of all that's going on in the world right now, and how the Kundalini energy is rising in the divine species on the planet, as well as on the planet as a whole. I also believe that the sun is getting hotter every single day. And I have a feeling that this second sun that we had is coming back into the atmosphere the following year. But I say all that because I think it's all had an impact on me having these visions and these premonitions that have come true. So the first one that I want to talk about is Denver Pride. Back in 2022, this happened, I want to say a month before, and I was with my best friend, and we were going to Pride, and we were meeting up with 2 other people, and we ended up going. We parked our cars in a parking garage in downtown Denver. Our other friend pinned it on their phone for the location, and then after we were done, we were walking back to the vehicles, and we couldn't find them. And in the premonition that I had, we were just walking in downtown Denver, and I could sense that we were looking for something. I didn't know what it was though, and the colors that were vibrating all around me were of a bluish hue. So in this moment, now it's Pride and we're done with the event. We're trying to get back to our vehicles, and we go to the parking garage that we thought we parked in, and the vehicles aren't there. So we're just in disbelief. And then we leave and we start going into a bunch of other parking garages that are, within a close enough proximity. We then end up going back to, the area of Pride that we were in, and we traced our steps and ended up in the same parking garage. And then we went out, and then we came back to the same one. Turns out they were in that parking garage. It's just a matter of we didn't go down, this other level of the parking garage where our vehicles were. And I guess we ended up leaving the parking garage to go to Pride when we arrived from a different exit point than from the point of entry that we ended up using to get into the garage again. So that was one experience that came true, and it was very brief what happened in the astral realm that night. It was just those exact people in the situation and us frantically looking for something. And that something turned out to be the vehicles. The second experience I had, I was in New York and I was taking an acting class, staying with a family friend. I had a dream where I saw this one woman and I heard these trains running and I didn't know exactly where I was, and I'm trying to get to one train, she's trying to get to a different train, and then I end up getting lost again. And so what happened was this woman turned out to be one of the students that I took this acting class with in the city. And we both walked to the subway station together with this other classmate, and then we each went off in a different direction. And she went to get one train, one subway, metro, that's the word. She went to get one metro, this other student went to get another, and then I went to get another. And within that course, somewhere along the way, I ended up hopping off at an exit point and getting onto a different metro that I should not have gotten onto. And I ended up heading to a completely different part of New York instead of heading back to Staten Island, which is where I was staying with my family friend. So that was the second experience. And what's interesting is that I guess what I'm noticing is that I don't get the event in fullness, in completion. That so far has been something that I'm supposed to discover in the moment, and especially if I remember. The third incident that happened, or at least the one that I'm going to share, is when, again, I was in New York and I was on Grindr, and I was trying to meet up with a guy, and he invited me to his place. I then left the place and told the person I was staying with that I was just gonna go meet up with a friend. And I got on the bus and I started heading down to where this gentleman, wanted me to meet him. And I had this sinking feeling in my stomach, I shouldn't go. At the time, I just thought it was nerves and, go have some fun, go have a fun night on the town, and if it leads something, leads something. But it increased. I've had a sinking feeling before, and that feeling where my gut says, don't do something. I believe we have all had that feeling. And I also want to say, if you get that feeling, please listen. There is a reason why your body is telling you this information right now, why it is sending these signals to your gut so you can respond accordingly. So after that, I'm still on the bus, and the bus is a blue color from the exterior to the interior in regards to the seats, the floor, the little ding thing that you grab so the bus driver knows, oh, okay, you want to get off at this stop. There was just a lot of blue on the bus, and we're getting a little further, maybe 20 seconds pass, and I get this message from the woman I was staying with, and I started reading it. And before I finished the message, I knew what the message said. Before I finished reading that entire thought. And I just thought, that's odd. Why did I just know the exact words that she was going to say? And so then I just texted her back and I released that thought. And then what happened next was I'm on this bus, and there's a lot of blue from the seats to the floor, and then the big windows to my left and my right. Everything around me on that bus changed, and I physically was on the bus, but spiritually I got up and removed somewhere, and everything around me turned purple, green, and blue. And what I was seeing and experiencing in that moment was this vision that I had. In the moment, I didn't remember that, this is the vision that I had, but I started experiencing this moment of me being attacked physically and sexually. And I then came out of it, and it lasted for, I want to say less than 15 seconds, but it was enough, like how in the astral realms there is no time. And for those of you who have experienced being in the astral realms, I mean, we all have, but for a more significant period where you have awareness of what is going on, you know that there is no time. And in that brief moment, yeah, I just gave a number of 15, but it didn't feel like there was time in the moment, if that makes sense. So I then come out of it, and now I'm back in the bus, and I'm seeing this blue. I'm back on the bus. Bus driver's still driving. And I'm like, whoa, what just happened? What was that? And that wasn't enough for me to remember that this was a warning, that this was a vision, and I should be careful with what I'm about to do with this person. And after a little bit, it happened again. Boom! Blue's gone, and I'm experiencing me being attacked physically and sexually, and now I am feeling the hands of these men on my temple and shoving my body around in this room like I'm a little pinball machine, or pinball in a pinball machine. And the colors, again, with the body that I was seeing, and then with these other men that were in this space that I was seeing this event play out in front of me, but now I'm also experiencing, feeling their bodies touch my temple. They're purple. There are these purple hues, these blue hues, these green hues. And I felt fear. That version of me in that scenario felt trapped, felt helpless, and, wanted to get to safety. I then come out of it, and I'm back on the bus again. And I'm now getting closer, and it might have happened one more time, with me feeling and seeing the blues and the purples and the greens, and now really feeling all of the physical torment and abuse in that moment. To me then getting off the bus, and I started walking, and something was saying, just turn back, Ryan, just turn back. My phone is also now at, let's say, 11%, and he texted me, like, where you at, and I was like, he messaged me, and he then said, are you into three-ways? And I was like, this is a red flag. you didn't mention that somebody else was there when I left my house when we were talking. And I then, kept asking. I was like, is someone else there? Is someone else there? Is someone else there? And he kept dodging the question. And then I was like, is someone else there? Yes or no? And then he said yes. And I'm now feeling that feeling. I felt my heart, race before and thump, 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 thump. But it's like, it was a different energy radiating from my heart chakra and from that part of my body that was then going throughout and shooting out through the entire part of my body. Again, I have felt my heart thump before in moments of like fear or uncertainty, a bunch of other feelings, but in that specific way where it's like expanding out and about to pop out, no. So then I just turn around and I head back to the bus, and I get to the bus stop and my phone is now at 1%. I had, my debit card on my Apple Wallet, so I just kept praying that my phone would stay charged until the bus arrived. And it took, I want to say 45 minutes, maybe 40, for that bus to arrive. And it was the longest 40 minutes of my life. Or at least it felt that way just because of what happened, and I felt that I was in an unsafe part of town. And I just wanted to get back to safety, bottom line. And I got on that bus and, made it back to the house. But that was the experience I had. And that was the first time in my adult life where me not listening to that sinking feeling in my gut led to me re-experiencing a vision. And it was on the way back to my family friends' house while I was on the bus back to their place that I connected and remembered that flashback that I got on the bus was something that I experienced in a dream in the astral realm before coming down to New York, so a month or two in advance. And I just sat with it for a while, that was something that my higher self warned me about, and did whatever, my spirit did whatever it could to get this version of me and my consciousness and where I'm at to not have that vision become reality. So that was the first time that I experienced, it flashing in front of my eyes and me, everything changing around me, and the colors of everything around me. It's interesting that they were the higher vibratory colors, and that there was more than one. It wasn't just blue, it wasn't just green, it was purple, green, and blue. But when I experienced it in the astral realm months before, it was definitely just the blue color. It was not all three. Why it was all three on the bus, I don't know. But that's how it unfolded. And the fourth, incident was me trying to go to India. I'll make another series with this one specifically because there was so much that happened, but I had another experience where this one was my consciousness, And the difference I believe between, consciousness and subconscious and astral body, if I were to pop out right now in the astral realm, I'd be in my astral body, and everything around me that is in my bedroom that is organic to these higher dimensions would be in this space. Now, my consciousness that has been messed with and manipulated with in some of these simulations, and then has provided me with some of these visions as well, is my mind. I categorize it as my mind being taken and placed somewhere, because it's not that specific astral body that is being manipulated, the one that's, if I pop out, I'm here, or if I pop out and I'm in my vehicle, then I'd be in my vehicle in the astral realms. It's the part of my mind that is within this body and within my astral body that then gets placed somewhere else where this simulation or vision or warning occurs. And that's what happened with this event. And I was in an airport. I didn't know I was in the airport at the time. Plane went off, and I missed my flight, bottom line. And then that happened in reality. So I'll get into more detail in the next video with that, or in a different video, in a series of videos. But I wanted to share my experiences that I have had, at least some of them, in receiving these visions, premonitions, warnings from my higher self in the astral realm, dream world, same thing. So that this version of me can hopefully change the story. And with all that's being done, from, magic being used, to chakras being manipulated, to these dark forces doing whatever they can to prevent the shift from happening, and doing what they can to manipulate my spirit body, my astral bodies, my multidimensional selves, as well as my physical body, to have an effect on me not remembering those visions. And fortunately, in one of them, my astral body came forward and kept attempting to pull me out of that veil of forgetfulness, essentially. But if you are having, bizarre dreams or a lot of deja vu moments, I do recommend you paying more attention to your dreams, whether you're daydreaming or if you are in a deep slumber. What's going on with your astral body? What's going on with your consciousness? What's going on with your subconscious? With the multiple multi-dimensional bodies that you have, is your higher self sending you a warning? They might be. And then I would recommend listening to your soul, listening to your inner divine self, because they are sending you this message for a reason. So those were the experiences that I did have that I wanted to share. And just again, to pay attention to your dreams, because your higher self, I can only imagine, is communicating a pool worth of knowledge and information that once you rise in the AM may not remember, if you're stressed, if maybe depending on some of the medication that you may be taking, the food that you're putting in your body, to, the biggest one, again, stress. Family relationships, friend relationships, the list goes on. So give yourself what you can to feel more ease in your body, and open yourself up more to your inner divine self, who I'm sure, again, is communicating with you on the daily, because some of these messages may help you get out of a sticky situation. I want to close this video out by sending peace, courage, divine cosmic love, and protection to every single 9 ether being who is on their journey of remembering their divinity and remembering who they are.